Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN. I come to you live, folks, on February, listen to me, how they get in? April 15th, tax day, I was going to say. And, folks, we got a record in the S&Ps as well. You talk about the acceleration, man. We just traded from a price point of 63.53 to start the last day of March, and you are up now 700 points, folks. That's a gain of about 11% from where we were on March 31st. We get above everything, and as the headline says, S&P hits a record highs on hopes for an Iran deal. Now, what's remarkable is you still have crude over $90. Okay, so it's not like that problem's been remedied just yet. Quite a pullback. Okay, but we are still sitting where you were on the highs of March 6th. Remember, the wars began February 27th. We got a whole week until we hit $90. We're still right back to where we were. So crude's going to be a little bit of a problem, but you have markets taking a look at the S&Ps. Let's take a look at the weekly. Okay, and yeah, you are charging higher. Now, at these highs, okay, you chopped around here from about December 22nd. We hit 69.94. You make it to the high of 7,036 on March 12th. And right now, it's only Wednesday, but you're coming in on the futures. You do about 6.4 on the week. We're at 3.7 right now. So we'll see where we go from there. You jump over the ETFs, the S&P right now, SPY. Just talking to a friend about, the volume in some of these markets, right? You have the bounce from the lows. That was a 4-day trading week. We're closed on Good Friday. Last week, you do 302 million. Now you got a 157 already. We'll see where we go. But look at some of the volume at the highs, I mean, we had on February 2nd almost 500 million at one of these. You chopped around there for a good period of time. Nonetheless, the S&Ps, folks, they're ringing the bell. And the SPY, let's see if we can get there. We're 8 pennies away from 700. Not quite yet. All those examples I was giving you of option trades this morning, yesterday, now they're simple math. I was using 700. Now we're at 700. 699.88. S&P is up by 0.8%. NASDAQ 100. Whew, you talk about it. Okay, we got some tech stocks soaring higher today. NASDAQ 100's up by 1.25%. You're up 321 points. 26,317. Now the futures within about 79 points of all-time highs. We could get there this hour on the futures, folks. 79 points on the NASDAQ 100. It's nothing. You're up 324 today. 1.25%. Microsoft is up by 5% today. We'll jump around. The Dow underperforming. Dow down 71 points or 0.1%. And you get the Russell right now up by 5 points or 0.2 at 27.23. Bitcoin up by $400, 74,820. We check in on crude, as I mentioned. 90.79 crude approaching $90. You jump over to gold. Down by $25 on the session. We spiked at 48.95 last night. We're at 48.24, just chopping around where you were earlier this morning. We jump to yields, and you get the 10-year right now, 4.28. A little bit of lower price, higher yield, 4.28 on the 10-year. And even with some higher yield, the dollar is weak, right? Usually you get a little higher yield. You get some dollar strength to chase that yield. Not happening right now. 98.04. Take a look at this dollar on a daily. Coming back into this area. Now, 98 has been a little bit of a floor, okay? Where exactly that is, but as you can see, right, we made it down there, remarkably enough, a year ago. How about that, folks? Here we are, exactly where you were a year ago. The dollar makes it down to 97.92 the week of April 21st, so almost a year. And here we are, right at that area yet again. Dollar under pressure. Look at these 2 weeks, all right? 98.04 on the dollar. And we jump over the VIX, 1790. As volatility just out of this market right now. All right, we jumped around to some of the headlines. And yeah, this is part of why the market's rejoicing. U.S. and Iran weigh a truce extension. Got to love the extensions, right? Everything's got a 48-hour deadline. It's got a week-long deadline. It's got a 2-week deadline. We'll just extend that deadline, folks. Iran, and I hope they do, right? Let's extend it forever. U.S. and Iran considering a 2-week ceasefire extension to allow more time to negotiate that peace deal. Mediators between the warring sides are seeking technical talks to overcome contentious issues. Technical talks. I mean, I love how it's, it better be technical, right? But you're talking about, are they going to have nuclear weapons? That seems to be the biggest sticky point that started it all. Yeah, you better believe tensions remain high. But yeah. So they're looking for an extension. We might get a second round of talks. And there we go. So Oracle, trading higher yet again. Their $38 billion debt, it's going to take a little time to push that out to the public. Yeah, some lenders are still looking to offload less than $1 billion of debt after 24 banks and other investors join the risk. Where's all this debt going to go for all these data centers, right? So last August, this happened, okay? And months later, after more than 24 banks and investors joined, they're not even done yet. Yeah, there's still $1 billion that they're looking to unload. Imagine, from August all the way to right now. The lengths the lenders had to go to, a cautionary tale, a cautionary sign that after some $275 billion in data center project borrowing last year, the appetite to continue financing part of it is waning a bit. You got private credit out there having a problem as well. But how about that, right? $38 billion, and they're still pushing out some of it. They haven't found buyers just yet. Now, speaking of some of these tech companies, speaking of SpaceX, how about Google, man? $100 billion. Yeah. Google LLC owned a 6.11% stake in SpaceX at the end of 2025 at a $2 trillion valuation that would peg it at $122 billion. It now likely owns roughly 5% of the merger with SpaceX and XAI. That would put it at $100 billion if they push that one out at the $2 trillion. Whew. So Google and Musk himself, with a 40% stake, were the only entities required to disclose their holdings in the filing. Many others were in there as well, though. Quite a number, man. And Musk, 40% as he rockets over $1 trillion. So they first invested in 2015. They joined Fidelity in a $1 billion funding round that valued the company at $10 billion in 2015. $2 trillion they're going to push it out to. And that gave the pair a 10% stake. Fidelity stake currently unknown. How about that, man? We'll come back. We'll take a look at Google. We're going to take a look at Microsoft. We'll take a look at Tesla as well. Come right back.